You don't just disagree with people anymore. You feel it immediately, in conversations, in comments, even in silence. There's a tension now that didn't used to be there. And most people explain it simply. Different values, different beliefs, left and right. The left tends to look at the world and see what isn't working. The instinct is to question it and change it. The right tends to look at the world and see what could break if you change it. The instinct is to protect it and keep things stable. Two different ways of trying to avoid something going wrong. But that doesn't explain why everything feels more intense now, because those differences have always existed. So what changed? The environment. The way information moves now doesn't reward understanding. It rewards certainty. The stronger something sounds, the more it spreads. And over time, that starts to shape how people think. You don't just hear what people say anymore. You decide what it means almost instantly. You stop exploring ideas. You start defending positions. And slowly, something deeper shifts. Most people don't just disagree politically anymore. They've built their sense of self around being right. So when someone challenges the opinion, it doesn't feel like a discussion. It feels like a threat. The more certain you become, the less open you are to anything that challenges it. And that's where the divide deepens. Because now it's not left versus right. It's identity versus identity. At the same time, something else is happening. The more time you spend around one set of views, the more the other side starts to look extreme. Not because it suddenly changed, but because your reference point did. And once that happens, understanding becomes harder. Reactions become faster. At some point, it stops being about what's true and starts being about what you feel you have to defend. Because being wrong doesn't just feel uncomfortable. It feels like losing something. And when that happens, the space between people starts to disappear. But here's the part that's easy to miss. The divide feels bigger than it is. Because you're not seeing people clearly anymore. You're seeing amplified versions of them and reacting to those instead. Which means the real shift isn't just political. It's psychological. It's what's happening to the space in between, because that space is where understanding used to exist. And without it, everything becomes easier to misunderstand, easier to dismiss, easier to turn into something it was never meant to be. But if that space can shrink, it can also be rebuilt, not by agreeing on everything, but by recognizing something simple. Most people think they're trying to understand each other, but something else is happening underneath, and that's why it feels the way it does.